Kia ora, good afternoon. Welcome back to this News Hub breaking news special. A gunman with an automatic weapon has opened fire on a mosque in central Christchurch. We are on standby for a statement from the Prime Minister at 4 o'clock. There are unconfirmed reports as many as 27 people are dead, including children. We must stress those numbers are unconfirmed, just reports at this stage. There were 500 people in the mosque at the time of the shooting. The shootings are thought to have happened at two mosques, one in Deans Avenue and one on Linwood Avenue. There are reports a bomb was also found inside a car that crashed on Strickland Street. All schools in Christchurch are now in lockdown, as is the Christchurch City Council building. There also appears to be another active shooting incident at Christchurch Hospital, where the casualties have been taken. News Hub reporter Erin Speedy is at Christchurch Hospital right now. We're going to go live to her. Erin, what is the latest you're hearing?
Well, Mitch, we can't confirm at this stage if there has been a shooting here at Christchurch Hospital, but what we do know is the hospital is in lockdown. There's armed guards at every door. Nobody is allowed in and nobody is allowed out of the hospital, and that's what they're telling us. All appointments for the day have been cancelled, including all of those outpatients and inpatients.
OK, Erin, you're right outside the hospital now, right on the edge of Hagley Park. Can you describe the situation? Are you seeing police officers? What are you seeing where you are?
So there's a lot of police officers around. As I said just before, there's armed police at every door to the hospital, and there's cordons in place. Now, we did see armed guards going car to car, searching, looking inside those windows, obviously looking for something, not sure what exactly that was. Now, I did come from the mosque on Deans Ave previously, and talking to people as they were coming out, there was a lot of terrified people, a huge police presence there too, obviously. And they were saying that they saw at least 20 to 30 people get shot just at that one mosque.
OK, Erin, you've been at the mosque, as you said, you're now at the hospital. What is police and authorities telling anyone that is in the central city area? What's the message if people are out and about this afternoon? What are they telling them?
The message for people is to stay indoors, stay safe, get off the roads and keep inside. A lot of buildings are in lockdown, including the council, schools, different businesses going into lockdown as we speak. Everyone trying to keep inside and safe.
OK, that is our Christchurch reporter Erin Speedy outside Christchurch Hospital right now. We are going to go back to Wellington, though, where our political editor Tova O'Brien is standing by. Tova, what information for us do you have right now?
I've heard from some senior members of the Parliament that they've been briefed. They're told that they've heard nothing yet to confirm that it's any more than one person. It's suspected that the New Zealand SIS, our domestic intelligence agency, would also be involved with this investigation at this point, so we'll no doubt hear more about that from the Prime Minister when she addresses New Zealand at 4 o'clock.
OK, Tova, and you spoke before about the political reaction to this. I know a number of politicians have put statements and things like that out. Can you tell us what they've had to say, and when are we going to hear from the Prime Minister?
So we'll hear from the Prime Minister at 4 o'clock, and politicians across the Parliament are putting out statements of condolences, of support to the people of Christchurch. The message really from everyone here is to listen to the police instructions, to get off the streets, that schools are in lockdown, that religious institutions are closed, that if anyone sees anything suspicious, to contact police. Here at Parliament it's fairly quiet, or the MPs are off in their electorates, but politicians are going to be reconvening here. Senior ministers are returning to Wellington to deal with this crisis. The Parliament itself hasn't gone into any kind of ramped up state of security. I talked to the head of security here. They are having meetings about it at the moment to see what to do, and I talked to the Speaker as well, and he's expecting to take guidance from police and other security agencies about what to do at the Parliament and whether there needs to be any kind of increased security here in Wellington. OK, Tova, thank you. OK, we are going to go back now to Christchurch, where Thomas Mead has been reporting for us this afternoon. He joins us now live again. Thomas.
Hi again, Mitch. I'm here with Jill Keats, who was driving past at the time that this shooting took place. Jill, could you tell us, just break down for us what you saw and what happened this afternoon as you were driving down Deans Avenue?
Well, I was heading towards Riccarton Road. I was actually going to the mall for an early lunch with my sister who came in from the peninsula. Okay. And I heard and saw what I thought were firecrackers, and I saw young fellas running down the street, And then all of a sudden it got quite violent, and I thought, no, that's not firecrackers. And they started falling, and one fell just to the left of my car and one fell to the right. And for a few minutes, I stopped the car in shock, and I leaned either way, I'm not sure, left, I think, across the seats to try and avoid getting shot. And apparently a bullet went sailing over my car and struck the one in the back. And he's all right, the guy. He was very good. And we pulled up, and I opened up my doors, or my driver's door, and got out, and the guy in the black Commodore, whatever it was, come up and said, "You're right." And I said, "Yeah, I'm good, I haven't been shot." And the poor bugger lying on the verge had been shot in the back. And we opened my passenger's door and my driver's door, and we pulled him round behind and then opened up the back as well, give us some protection. And he had a first aid kit, and he crouched and ran all the way back to get it. And he lifted up his shirt and he dressed it, and I put the pressure on. And then a nice Muslim guy come and give me some help as well, because you have to put quite a bit of pressure on, and poor old hands were shaking that hard. I was scared I'd, wouldn't be able to do a good job. And and the worst thing was we could hear the ambulances, but they couldn't get to us. And then a nice guy on the other side, who was on the other side, he put 3 people in his car and took them to hospital. And the guy on the street, he was trying to ring his wife, or the one I had, and the other guy I could see he was in bad shape, but I couldn't get to him because that was where directly the gunfire was coming from. And the guy I was compressing, he was trying to ring his wife, and I managed to get it, and I answered the phone, and I said to her, "Your husband's been shot outside the mosque," I said, "and don't come here to Deans Ave, you won't get through, but please go to the hospital, wait for him." And then I kept talking to him and telling him that she was at the hospital waiting, and he wasn't to give up. And yeah, we just kept pressure on and did the best we could for him until we got him some help. Yeah, and in the meantime, the poor guy across the road passed away, and my car's still down there.
Oh, Jill, it's so terrible.
I never thought I'm 66, I never thought in my life I'd love to see something like this, not in New Zealand.
So horrible. And can we really commend you for what you did? You're really a hero for taking care of that boy.
No, you just do what you do at the time. I wish I could have done more.
Thank you, Jill. Can I give you a hug?
Yes, sure.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
So, look, Mitch, the accounts are just pouring in. Another shooting, this time people running from the mosque, shot as they were leaving, people driving past, stopping to help and compress, and doing as much as they can while people were outside dying on the street. This is a clear, senseless act of violence, people doing as much as they can to respond, the human spirit coming through in a terrible, terrible time.
That is one incredibly brave woman speaking to you there, Thomas. If you're still with us, I just want to ask you what the scene is like where you are right now. It seems as if a number of police officers have left that area. Okay, I think Thomas has left us.
That's
there.
right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Thomas.
That's right, Mitch. It is a lot calmer now. It appears a lot of the police officers who were here initially very heavily armed. We were here a few minutes after it was initially reported, and they were carrying large rifles, taking cover behind vehicles, screaming at people, "Get out, get out, get out, get out." Clearly the shooter was still active at that time. But it appears the police presence has subdued somewhat. There are still some officers here, but they have vacated this area and potentially head to another area. So look, now the scene is full of family members who are coming down, waiting to get some information about those inside the mosque. We've spoken to another man a few moments ago who's waiting to hear from his wife, and the people here are all just waiting to hear from those they love inside this mosque after this tragic, awful time.
It really is, Thomas. This is making international headlines right now. I've just seen alerts from the Guardian in the UK and the New York Times as well. We are getting across to the Prime Minister, who's about to speak from the Devon Hotel in Taranaki in a couple of minutes. But Thomas, maybe if you could just recap what you have been hearing for some of these witnesses you've spoken to this afternoon.
So we've spoken to 2 witnesses who were inside the mosque at the time of the shooting. who saw extreme acts of violence. A man walking into the mosque with a gun and firing endlessly for a long period of time, at least 5 minutes. Another witness said as long as 20 minutes, shooting people at will, at random, going into rooms, individually shooting people off. At least one room, we understand, was the women's room. This shooting was taking place at the time of afternoon prayer, so people gathering together in solidarity to pray as part of the Muslim faith. And the shooter has come through from the witness accounts that we have and fired at random. People have then fled and run out. The shooter has then, according to a witness we've just spoken to Jill, started shooting at people as they were fleeing and running, forcing her to take action to try and save them. It is a clear act of hate. There will be a number of people injured, a number of people who have died, and we have seen ambulances rushing to and from this scene endlessly. Although in the last 20 minutes, half an hour or so, I have not seen an ambulance rush back through here, so it appears that they have got on top of the number of injuries, and those people will hopefully, those injured will hopefully be now at Christchurch Hospital at a triage centre that we understand that has been set up, getting the treatment after this awful act.
Okay, Thomas, forgive me if I have to interrupt you in a minute because we're about to cross to the Prime Minister in Taranaki, but there will be a number of people around the country wondering how those family members are doing who you talked about being at the cordon before. So are they still there? Are they being looked after? What's happening in that situation?
They are getting some information, some limited information from the police officers here, but look, they will have to be interviewed about what has taken place. In fact, some people have told us that the police are asking them not to speak to media because they will want to get some accounts, but we are making sure to communicate exactly what is going on for the people around New Zealand who will have family members here that attend the mosque and in Christchurch. But look, they are getting as much information as they can, but there is still a huge information gap. People are still sitting around here on phones, talking to each other and taking solidarity as much in each other as much as they can.
Thomas, can you see many people walking around that area, or has it completely cleared out after that message went out from police to clear the area? Are people listening and staying away?
They had, now that you mention it, Mitch, the area has cleared out quite a bit. We are standing near a very busy road, Morehouse Ave, which at this time of day would normally be absolutely packed. And half an hour ago, it was absolutely full of people, presumably who were not aware of this, just driving home. But the amount of traffic has decreased a lot. Looking at it now, there is only a few cars going back and forth, and other than family members and those affected coming to this area to try and get what information they can, it appears people are heeding that advice. Now, this area is a dense office area. There are a number of large offices, professional people working around here, and also a number of residential homes along Deans Avenue. There's a number of flats and general houses just offshooting here, and it is near one of the busiest roads in Christchurch, Riccarton Road, which runs past a popular mall. So it is good to see that people are heeding the advice of officials and staying away, and we'd like to reiterate that if you are in Christchurch at the moment, please stay away from this area to allow the family to come down and be able to park and find a place to come in at this cordon.
That is good advice. Thomas, just stay there. We're going to go to a statement now from the New Zealand Police, which has come out in the last couple of minutes. It says police is responding to a very serious and tragic incident involving an active shooter in central Christchurch. One person is in custody. However, police believe there may be other offenders. This is an evolving incident and we are working to confirm the facts. However, we can confirm there have been a number of fatalities. Police is currently at a number of scenes. We understand that there will be many anxious people, but I can assure New Zealanders that police is doing all it can to resolve this incident. We urge New Zealanders to stay vigilant and report any suspicious behaviour immediately to 111. We are mobilising resources nationally and support is being brought into the district. We are still working to resolve this incident and we continue to urge Christchurch residents to stay inside. We ask all mosques nationally to shut their doors and advise that people refrain from visiting these premises until further notice. I'll just recap that last part of that press release there from police. We are still working to resolve this incident and we continue to urge Christchurch residents to stay inside. We ask all mosques nationally to shut their doors and advise people refrain from visiting these premises until after further notice. Now, pictures have emerged of what's believed to be a suspect being apprehended by police. These pictures are just in right now, and we can see some video footage on your screen that's been filmed off a mobile phone. It looks like a car has been pulled over on the side of the road. Looked to be a Subaru Forester. You can see blurred vision there of what appears to be police taking a person down. We don't know which part of Christchurch this is at this stage, but there are a number of armed police, and that's likely to be the offender police talked about in that press release, but they have mentioned there is possibly more people at large at the moment.